Howdy ho, neighborinos. We are here today with kind of a different video. This is like my official send off the Jin video. Basically, if you're wondering where the fuck BBR is, I think my DS is shot, dude. Like, I don't know if it's because I hacked it and then I accidentally clicked a lot of the wrong buttons or something, but it won't save replays anymore. And I deleted all the other replays. It won't save them anymore. Fuck it. Yeah. RIP. If you're in the server, you already know I made it to playoffs and then I did lose to Storm, so fuck it. But that's not what we're doing here. Today we are doing the most fun, in my personal opinion, and kind of our friends' opinions as well. I took a poll on Twitter a while ago. I asked a bunch of my friends that like are actually good at the game and that actually know like how to have a good time with Mons. You know, not gonna be super try hard about it or anything, but also not gonna not be somewhere that it's the balance that's key. So this is going to be a video. This is a two-part video, because right now we have the most fun Mons, all 6 of them, and then we'll have the one either tomorrow or the next day or something, the least fun / the most fucking annoying Mons, and that'll be fun. So originally, I was going to do 3 videos, and we were going to do the annoying 6 versus the fun 6, but me and Pat were going to do it, but then whoever got the annoying 6 was going to just not have a good time. Also, you'll see there's actually more than 6 Pokemon on that list, so yeah, we'll have to do that tomorrow or whenever, but here we are, and number 6 actually on the list. We'll go in, descending order, and they're in increments of 6 because we were going to do the teams, and then I'm not changing it, But yeah, we took some polls, I asked around, and it's mostly personal opinion though. Number 6 for me, and the most fun month to use, is going to be Nidoking. Nidoking is so much fucking fun, dude. It's a Gen 1 mon, so obviously it's going to get, I think, every move ever. Yeah, I think that's how it's, yeah, pretty much. So, its stats are, like, on paper, not that impressive. Like, they're good stats, nonetheless, but nothing really stands out about it. However, Sheer Force Life Orb makes every single move viable that gets a secondary effect, because all of a sudden, it's been boosted out the ass, and you don't take Life Orb recoil because of the Sheer Force. So, Nidoking is fucking cool. It sets up Stealth Rocks, it sets up Toxic Spikes, and hey, this is like the opposite of my draft analysis where I won't read you the list of moves. This is like we're making up for all that, right? So like I said, it's a Gen 1 mon. It gets every move ever, so you need coverage, this is your boy. Downfalls of Nidoking are definitely 4 move slot syndrome, and it's also like you don't really want to put Stealth Rocks on it, or Toxic Spikes even for that matter, even though like it has those options, just because that other coverage move is always nice. So like you're always going to want Dual Stab, and then Flamethrower, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, Shadow Ball, Ice Beam, fucking did I say Ice Beam twice? Probably. I don't know. And then it's like those are all its special moves too. It gets decent physical moves as well. Not as many like boosted with the Sheer Force Life Orb, but it does get priority. It gets Sucker Punch. Obviously, Earthquake is always going to be strong. The Elemental Punches. Mega Horn if you really need to kill a Dark type and you're not fucking around, obviously Rock Slide, Super Fang, Super Power, Sucker Punch, which we mentioned, Stone Edge. It just, dude, it gets a lot of stuff, and it is so much fun to build with. It's one of those mons where, like, if you have the other 5 mons built already, and then you need something to just wall break, you stick a Nidoking in there, and you just click the buttons, dude. All you gotta do is click them buttons. And, I have a special place in my heart for Nidoking because it was one of the first, like, fully evolved mons I ever had in Pokemon. Like, playing Gen 1, I remember getting it and getting a Nidorino, and like, back in the day, if you didn't have the internet, so you had to like figure out kind of on your own, or like ask an older kid, or like, unless you had that little booklet, which was cool, but you kind of had to figure it out. And then I remember like having all these Moonstones, and I was like, what the fuck is this for? Like, I'm sure it evolves like Clefairy, because that's the whole point of like Mount Moon and stuff, but like, what does this do? Sure enough, it makes you Nidoking, and then, it does kind of suck, because then you gotta wait till like the 8th gym to get Earthquake, so you don't really have a good move to hit anything with, but it learns every move ever, so you just like, you probably didn't even run Stab on it as a kid, I fucking love Nidoking. Such a good mon, such a pain in the ass to prep for, but it's more fun than it is a pain in the ass, I think. Like, so none of these mons are really going to necessarily be fun to prep for, but it's definitely fun to prep with. Okay, that makes sense. Once again, personal preference more than anything, but I did, I gathered opinions from my peers on Twitter and the internet and all that shit. So yeah. Next, number 5 on the list, we have Scizor. Now, Scizor is kind of another twofer because it does have a Mega Evolution, which is also really fucking fun. But we're just going to talk about both of them in general. So, Scizor, while it is kind of a one-track mon, it doesn't really have a lot of options. It's basically always going to be either Banded if it's not Mega, or if it's Mega, it's going to be like SD, Roost, Bullet Punch, And My favorite personal set is the SD Roost Bullet Punch U-turn set because you pivot around with it late game and then you clean up. I mean, you pivot around with it early game and then you clean up with it late game with Bullet Punch. So like you SD as somebody goes into their bulky water to fucking try to scald run you. You have a decent amount of speed, right? So then you turn out. You do half through their fucking bulky water. You deal with it with something else, and then late game you come in, and since that bulky water was weakened by you earlier at +2 or +4 or whatever, you usually can pick it off with Bullet Punch, and it's just a great time, dude. So, Akaberry or Choice Band is pretty much going to be the item on Scizor every time, at least in draft leagues, and that's all it needs really, because like it's just so strong. 130 base attack. That's like, to put it in perspective, that's the same as a Kyurem's base special attack and attack. So like when you think of Kyurem and how hard that boy hits, and not Kyurem White or Kyurem Black, I'm talking Kyurem, you know, still the fucking threat. That boy is strong. 100 defense, 80 special defense, that boy is fucking thick too. It doesn't really die to one hit unless you hit it with a fire move, but that's what Akaberries are for, baby. Its moves aren't terrible. Like, they're not great, but they're not terrible. It does get access to defog, making it, you know, a little bit more viable, especially in draft league and whatnot. And that's what this is all about, is draft league. So getting access to knockoff is nice. Fuck people's items. Pursuit is always cool. Quick attack, so that, you know, people try to come in with their electric types or with their fire types. You can, after you SD up, then you can quick attack them, and they're like, what the fuck just happened? Superpower is super nice to be able to break those bulky steals that want to come in, especially at +2. So, you know, people try to come in with their half health Mega Scizor and wall you. It ain't happening, dude. I mean, Mega Steelix. It ain't happening, dude. You dying. Tailwind, I don't think I've ever necessarily run Tailwind on one of mine, but it could happen. It does get access to counter as well. Fucking Fury Cutter if you're a man. And okay, so I said my favorite set earlier, but that's my favorite Mega Scizor set. If ye ain't running Natural Gift Fire with the Akaberry, ye ain't a man, because I won a tournament with that shit, and it was so much fun, dude. It was a usually useless tournament, so like you couldn't use any of the moves. Like in the top part of the team builder, you had to go down to where it says usually useless, and that's where Natural Gift is. So you know we already destroyed, dude. It was so much fun. I love Scizor. It's a Gen 2 mon, so it still gets a decent amount of coverage as well. Recently, it did appreciate getting defog and the move tutors and all that bullshit. So it's just a good all-around mon. It's really not hard to scout for fire moves and HP fire on people's stuff too, because like if someone sends in a special attacker versus Scizor and that mon doesn't get access to flamethrower or whatever, it's pretty much safe to assume they're clicking HP fire. So you just double out into your water type or your flash fire mon and you have a good time. So that's going to be number 5 is Scizor. I fucking love Scizor. I'd like to see what you guys think of the whole list, but of Scizor specifically, just because it's the one mon in this list that's a little bit different than the other 5, you know. So next, we have a brand new mon, a Gen 7 mon, obviously, not a spoiler, but this boy is fun as hell too. We have Necrozma. Dude, Necrozma is such a good member to have on your team. I've seen Necrozma go first round, before Tapu Koko, before fucking all that shit. People will take Necrozma right off the bat, just because Prism Armor is such a good ability. It gets access to Stealth Rocks. It can be physical or special. Not Prismatic Laser, what's it called? Photon Geyser is both a physical and special move, depending on which stat is higher. So if you want to run I believe it gets Sword Stance. Yeah, if you want to run the SD set, you can hit people with that laser, dude. Not the laser. What am I talking about? With the geyser. That's it. So geyser plus knockoff, you're usually gonna do good damage to most stuff on the team. It also gets like Earthquake, it gets Facade, fucking Brick Break, Iron Head, Night Slash. If you're worried about a Mega or something, Stone Edge, like X-Scissor even for other bulky psychics. Dude, this thing is ridiculously good. It's bulky as hell, and then with that Prism Armor taking, 3/4 damage from super effective hits is so nice. And then when you talk about Necrozma, you have to talk about the Austin set, the fucking Weakness Policy Rock Polish set, which will straight up just win games. A lot of the times, it'll just win games, because you see a Necrozma, and you're like, wow, that thing is a threat. I need to do as much damage to it as much as possible so that it doesn't just Calm Mind in my fucking face and stored power my whole asshole. So I'm going to hit it as hard as I can, and then I'm going to go pick it off with a Scarfer or something later. So you hit it with you hit it with a U-turn, you give it a boost, it sets up in your face, and then it sweeps your whole team, and it's a bad time, dude. I remember early gen, a lot of people were running like Calm Mind stored power, and then a lot of people also would run the Weakness Policy with stored power. But honestly, you don't even need stored power. It's cool to have, but Geyser plus Heat Wave, you probably win in the whole game, dude. And then coverage move for whatever else you need. Necrozma is so much fun. And like when I first came out this gen, everyone was like I feel like it wasn't quite appreciated until people started battling with it, and they were like, okay, wow, this thing's a fucking threat. Because it was like, you know, Ultra Necrozma and all that stuff came out, and it was like, wow, regular Necrozma is kind of underwhelming, but it really wasn't, dude. It is so much bulkier than it looks. Its stats are really good still, but it's so much bulkier than it looks on paper just because of the Prism Armor. And then with all the coverage in the world, with fucking Z moves with all that coverage, it is so damn good. And bulky Psychics all around are always just going to be fantastic to have on your team. So I love Necrozma personally. This is number 4 on the list, and it's a good time. Plus, it looks badass. It looks like it skipped leg day, but it definitely looks badass, honestly. So, to number 3, we have one of my... okay, listen. I was about to say this is one of my favorite mons to use, but obviously this is a list of my most fun mons to use. So, of fucking course, Shaden, this is going to be a fun favorite mon for you. Shut your mouth. I know, okay? Dude, y'all don't even have to roast me. I'll roast myself, okay? Like... It's like, y'all start typing, like, I ain't taking any of your shit, and I'm already talking to myself, like, I ain't taking any of my own shit either, you know? So, next we have another Gen 7 mon. We have Zeraora, and Zeraora is just, it's such a cool mon, dude. It's so fucking fast, 143 speed, dude. Unless you're an Electrode, you ain't outspeeding it, you know? Fastest electric this side of the Mississippi. Now, the only problem with Zeraora is that like, you kind of always want to run mixed, which means you almost always have to run a boosting item or a life orb or whatever. But honestly, a mon like Zeraora has no problem slapping on a Zap Plate, a life orb, an E-Belt, or whatever, just because it gets cool moves and it hits everything hard as fuck. It's so fast, you can almost always run like Adamant or Adamant or Modest, depending on if you're running a specific set. But Naive or Hasty, and then having a shitload of HP or a shitload of like investment in both stats is always cool too. Plasma Fist is a cool mon. It's a cool move because you can click the button and then no one can hit you with a normal type move. So, you know, if you're in front of a Snorlax and they expect you to go for close combat and they're going to hit you with a return, it doesn't matter because you're going to just Volt Absorb it right back up. And it's fun as shit. Zeraora gets amazing moves too. Like, it doesn't get a super big amount of coverage, but like it gets everything it needs to. I think I just wish it got Ice Punch. If it got Ice Punch and maybe like 10 or 20 more in each stat, it would be the perfect mon, dude. So, the Bulk Up set is cool, the Calm Mind set is cool, although I don't think I've ever used the Calm Mind set, but Close Combat, Discharge, Drain Punch, fucking Fake Out for some priority, Fire Punch, Focus Blast, Focus Punch, Grass Knot to hit them grounds. Obviously, every electric type ever is going to want to run HP Ice most of the time, but I wish I had Ice Punch. It gets Knockoff, it gets Low Kick, it gets Outrage if you want to run like Z Outrage and take out a big old dragon, fuck that shit. Plasma Fist, like we talked about, it's just such a strong move. Base 100, stab, and you just click it. You just slap it, you know, like I said, a boosting item, choice band, and you just click the button. Also gets access to Superpower and Taunt, and then of course, you know, the standard electric moves, which are like Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, and whatnot. So this thing is just so good, dude. Like it's so fast. You usually have a lot of extra EVs to play around with, which means it's like it hardly ever dies in one hit, you know. So, you know, you come in on like a weaker Earthquake from a Gastrodon or whatever, you're still gonna live, and then you take it out with 2 Grass Knots or whatever. So like, it's cool, man. I fucking love Zeraora. He's a speedy boy. It reminds me of Killua from Hunter x Hunter. It also reminds me of Dorian, because fucking Dorian face. But Zeraora is just, it's such a good mon, dude. And like, it's not, but it is. You know, like looking at its stats, if any other mon like had those stats, I'd be like, you know. It's fast, sure, but it's meh. It's kind of underwhelming. But it's just so damn good and so damn fast. And like, it just, like, if you don't prep for it, it's gonna destroy your whole team. And you gotta, most of the time, you're gonna need a Scarfer to beat it. And even then, you can whittle that Scarfer down with hazards and Fake Out and whatnot. So it's really like, it's not hard to win with. It's such a good late game cleaner, such a good mid game pivot or breaker or whatever if you have the right boosting item. But Zeraora is just like, I just want to hug him, dude. Look at him. He looks, it's a really cool looking mon too. Like, it's a little bit of fairy bait, but you know, we can take that in stride. But it looks cool, man. It's strong, it's fast, and we say strong really leniently around these parts, but it's just a good mon, dude. And it's number 3 on my list for a reason, just because it is so easy to kind of the same thing as Nidoking. It's so easy to just stick the moves on that you need and then just pivot around and win, you know? So, number 2 on the list, we have a mon that I've gotten flack for using this mon a couple times because people, I guess, think it's like it's overused. Not literally in the tier overused, but I love Infernape, dude. Infernape is one of, if not the most versatile mons in the entire game, like especially in Draft League. It can do anything and everything you would ever want. So, obviously, gonna be one of the best Z-move users ever, straight up. Blaze, if you're going to be like a Focus Sash set, is always cool, and then Iron Fist for every other set because you're going to be doing some punching, you know? This thing just like, it gets Nasty Plot, it gets Sword Stance, it gets U-Turn, it gets all kinds of priority, Encore, fucking Calm Mind, fucking just bulk up, work up. It just, no, whatever you need this thing to do on your team, it will do. If you have a team of 5, and you're like, oh, we need a wall breaker, Infernape. Oh, we need a sweeper, Infernape. Oh, we need a pivot, Infernape. Oh, we need a scarfer, Infernape. It does anything you want it to do. Fire and fighting coverage is amazing, even though people shit on it a lot because it has that typing, you know, and there's like 2 other starters with that typing that people don't really like, but that just means you're a fire type that isn't weak to rocks, which is amazing. And then, you know, that fighting coverage, like, its stats are good. Don't get me wrong. 104 in both stats is amazing, and it's kind of frail, but you don't really take many hits with it anyways because you attack something with a heavy hard-hitting move, and then you pick it off the priority, worst case scenario, right? So, Bulky Waters come in and try to deal with you. You have Thunder Punch. You have Iron Fist boosted Thunder Punch, and then you also get stuff like Grass Knot. So if, like, you know, a Seismitoad wants to come in here and, you know, show you who's boss, it ain't happening, bud. So, the really strong base power moves are nice. Close Combat being 120, Flare Blitz being 120, getting access to Earthquake, even though, like, a lot of times, I feel like mons like that don't really get Earthquake. Maybe it's because I've been playing a lot of older gens lately, so, like, a lot of times, like, smaller, like, I feel like mons that wouldn't be strong enough to make the ground shake, you know, like, that aren't big enough to do it, they wouldn't give it to, but I don't know, maybe I'm just stupid. So, but yeah, man, Gunk Shot, fuck the fairies, you know, Grass Knot, like we talked about, Low Kick if you're fighting some big stuff, you know. Even like Roar and Slack Off is great because that means like Eviolite Monferno is gonna be great. I've had a lot of hard times dealing with Eviolite Monferno, and that's not what we're talking about though. This boy gets access to Stealth Rocks and Taunt, so like a Focus Sash lead is amazing with like Endeavor and a priority move or whatever. It gets Will-O-Wisp, so like you're not even safe to switch in a physical attacker on this boy because first of all, it could just burn you with its regular fire moves, and then it could actually burn you and ruin your whole day, you know? So, sorry, slight interruption there, but yeah, so it is, like I said, it's a Gen 4 mon, which is early enough to still get a lot of good moves over the years, and it's a starter, so like they usually give it, you know, they usually give it a little bit of help in the moves department. So it's just, dude, it's such a good mon. It does anything and everything you could ever want it to, and I have to expedite the rest of this video, so let's end it there on this guy, right? And Infernape, good mon altogether. Last but not least, my favorite mon of all time to use is going to be Greninja, just because Greninja, Torrent Greninja in low tiers is so fucking good, dude. It's like so much faster and pretty strong on both ends on physical and special that it cleans up straight up. Also gets access to several priority moves, Shadow Sneak, Water Shuriken, all that kind of stuff. And obviously in the higher tiers and in the unbanned leagues, Protein and Battle Bond are so much fun to use, dude. Protein literally will beat an entire team by itself. If you've seen my video where I played Sock in the PCL, it got 6 kills. Like, it killed every single one with coverage moves, dude. It's amazing. Stab everything, dude. Amazing. 122 base speed, amazing. 103 base special attack and 95 attack aren't like the greatest in the world, but with a boosting item, which it's always gonna have anyways, it's killing, dude. And it gets, like I said earlier with these other mons, starters always seem to get like a lot of coverage moves. So, and water types, you know, usually get decent amount of coverage as well. So like getting access to like Dark Pulse, Extra Sensory, Grass Knot, Gunk Shot, all the water moves, Pump and Scald and Surf and all them. And then Ice Beam, Ice Punch, you know, Power Up Punch, Low Kick, Rock Slide, Shadow Sneak, Spikes and Toxic Spikes, dude. U-Turn, Waterfall, Water Shuriken. I just went down the list and read them to you, and I know you're not stupid, and this isn't a TED Talk, but it's what I have to do to get this point across that Greninja does so fucking well. So, my personal favorite set, I love just a good old-fashioned Life Orb, 4 attacks, Protein Greninja, or like Toxic Spikes or Spikes 3 attacks Greninja. It's so good, dude. It does get access to U-Turn as well, like we talked about, but I don't really like to run Life Orb on on pivot mons, just because I don't like to take 10% and then switch out too, because then you reveal your item and then you have to throw in another another mon on an attack, which could reveal their item as well. You lose a lot in one turn. But this boy, man, it's just like, it's just fast enough to outpace the base 120s, which is amazing. Base 115s and all that shit too. Your Weaviles and whatnot are still gonna outspeed you, but fuck it, Greninja is just so fucking strong, dude. Battle Bond is too strong on its own. I've seen several leagues ban it just because once you get a kill, it's borderline unstoppable. And with choice specs, you just break so hard, dude. Hydro Pump, it's like, if you get your Bond, then 80% of the time you win the game. Because if Hydro Pump hits, you win, dude. It's over. Greninja also looks really cool. Honestly, in my personal opinion, it's one of my favorite, like, mons that looks cool. Just because his little tongue, like, is fucking, like ninja, And then he's shiny. He's black with the red. It looks so fucking cool, dude. Holy shit. And like I said, I gotta speed up the rest of this video just because I'm about to be interrupted again. I apologize for that, but the point still stands. Greninja is such a good mon. I want to hear what you guys think about my 6, what your guys' 6's favorite thing are. Granted, like I said, this is personal opinions. This is just things that I have used over the years that I really have grown to appreciate, and then things that are like not new, but things that definitely weren't just cool because of shiny new toy syndrome. So like Gen 7 mons come out and everybody's like, yay! But then the shine kind of fades away. But mons like Necrozma and Zeraora never stopped being awesome for me. So I do appreciate those. Most of all, I appreciate Greninja just because, like, it's so cool to be able to just check off so many boxes in a league, and it kind of works the same with Infernape too. Because you want to get your Steel Fairy Dragon Core, you want to get your Fire Water Grass Core, you want to get a Dark type, you want to get Hazards, you want to do all this shit, and it just checks so many boxes off that list that it frees up options for other things on your team to be wacky. And if you guys have seen me in draft leagues, I don't like to just bring standard shit because that's lame, So any pressure taken off of the team to be able to be wacky is always appreciated, and just having such an just amazing moveset and so many options and so much support, such fucking good everything, dude. I'm at a loss for words of how good Greninja is. So one thing we have all learned by now is not to sleep on it, because I guarantee you everyone watching this video has lost a game to a Protein or a Battle Bond Greninja, and it fucks your whole world up, dude. So hell, dude, even like I play not a lot, but I play a good amount of T3 and below leagues, and regular Greninja in there is like probably the best mon in the whole T3 and below league, because like it's so good, dude. And then Water Stricken, obviously, when you're bonded, getting 3 hits every time is nice, because sometimes you get real fucked getting just 2 hits, But that's going to be it for my favorite 6 Pokemon of Gen 7 draft leagues and whatnot. So, like I said, I want to hear your guys' 6. I want to hear your opinions on my 6. And I want to hear, if there's anything you think I missed, if there's anything wacky that I didn't read off from the list. I want to hear it. Like, subscribe, do all that bullshit. I will see you guys next time for the most annoying mons video whenever I can get that up. And this will be basically how we send off the Gen. So, with all that being said, I appreciate the hell out of you guys. Let's go into Gen 8, just having as much fun as possible. Bye forever.